Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing my review for Z Nation Season 1. And before I actually begin on the actual review though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those who have yet to actually watch all the episodes of Season 1 from Z Nation. It's 13 episodes. If you guys are missing an episode or haven't watched the show entirely, stop the video, go check it out, and come back and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up, so for those who have yet to actually watch the whole season of Z Nation Season 1 and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that I never give you a fair warning, because as usual, I did. Season 1 review for Z Nation. Basically, my thoughts on the whole season, quick synopsis on the season as a whole, my likes and dislikes, and then the rates for the overall season. Z Nation revolves around this group of characters. You have the main character Murphy, and he's basically the only survivor, the only known person to have survived a zombie bite. So yeah, and he has more than one zombie bite. He has 8 different zombie bites, and basically they have to get him all the way to California. You have DJ Qualls, who plays Citizen Z, who's up in Antarctica, and he's basically directing the whole group how to get to California and where they should go, and what to avoid, who to avoid, and all that. In the group, you have Murphy, Garnett, 10K, Cassandra, Roberta, Matt, Doc, and Addie, and yeah, that's the whole group. And basically they all have to try to get him to California, and they have to encounter obstacles in the way. They encounter a group of cannibals, a group of zombie apocalypse prostitutes, a group of a women dominant group, who hate men basically, or at least most of them who do hate men, as it seems. Radioactive zombies, a zombie tornado, zombie infested towns. It's just silly. Oh my gosh, it's a silly ass show. Honestly, it's just a really silly show it's a silly show that's not really meant to be taken seriously. It's not really meant to be taken seriously. But it does have its moments where it is serious and it can be taken seriously. But overall, it's a show that really can't be taken seriously when you have radioactive zombies with zombie tornadoes, and yeah, you have a zombie bear, for God's sakes. So I mean, it's a show that really you can't take seriously. It's just a fun show you really cannot take seriously. You want to take it seriously at times because they do have their serious moments. I think one of the biggest serious moments in the show was like in episode 4 or episode 5, when they had their first major character death, Garnett, who at that point was the group's leader. Basically, you had this religious survivor coach, or religious coach, survivors, whatever. This group of survivors who were crazy religious cults, basically, who would kill themselves, and since they wouldn't know what they would turn afterwards, because after you die you turn, they go by that rule as well. They invade this community, and some of them kill themselves in order to spread the zombie virus throughout this small community. Garnett, in order to protect Murphy, he gets shot by accident, and they do put down Garnett afterwards. So I mean, overall, it's a silly show, and it does have serious moments. And one thing there's many fun things about the show. Most of the characters are well developed. Surprisingly, are actually well developed for the type of show this is, and most of them you do care for. After some time, you do care for them. Some of them are fun. Some of them, you want to see them survive, or some of them are interesting. So yeah, I think Murphy would have to be the most interesting character out of all of them, considering he's been bitten like 8 times. And he also does have the zombie cure. And it's also an interesting concept, having Citizen Z up in Antarctica and telling them where to go and how to go and all that. One of the downsides though is that despite the fact that there are some well-developed characters, there's other characters that really aren't that developed or interesting. Specifically Matt and Addie. At first, Addie was an okay character. She was, she was okay. She had some development, but she was okay. You want to see her survive because she's kind of badass at first. But then her backstory kind of kicks in, and you really just don't care for her backstory. And then her boyfriend Matt, he really gets like no development at all, so you really just don't give a shit about him. So yeah, and honestly, so yeah, there's one episode which fucked me over. I have to say, there's this one episode which fucked me over. I'm gonna explain why. It was the one episode where Addie and Matt had their own episode, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna have their own episode. Okay, give them some development. Give a bit of more development to Matt. Give a bit more development to Addie. And yeah, and at the end they do this Inception bullshit, which basically means that any development they got throughout the whole episode doesn't count anymore because it was all a dream. And yeah, and due to the fact that that episode was considered the worst in the whole season, I mean, it's the worst. I mean, you have Inception and zombies. It really just doesn't mix. It was a terrible plot. First off, it could have been pretty good. Could have been decent with some decent development, but due to the fact that it was a dream at the end, any development was lost, right? So I did my review the next day, right? And normally for the show, I got pretty decent viewings. I usually tend to get about 100 people viewing my review for Z Nation. Between 50 and 100, yeah, between 50 and 100 people viewed my Z Nation reviews. After that one episode, it went downhill. I had maybe 20 views per Z Nation review, as is. So yeah, that episode fucked me over as well. It was a terrible episode, and I understand why not many people wanted to see a review for it, because they all knew it was gonna suck. But yeah, but afterwards it just fucked me over. So I mean, that has to be the worst episode in the whole series. Aside from that, I mean, there are actually some pretty good episodes. The last episode was maybe one of the biggest episodes, and I think the best episode. Or one of the best episodes the series has, because they left off at this cliffhanger, which could basically be, it could be basically the destruction of the whole world. Because basically they had a dead man switch type of deal. Once they leave the facility, nuclear bombs are gonna basically nuke the whole world. So yeah, I mean, it's really hard to explain what I'm talking about unless you actually watch the show. But basically, they get to a laboratory. Murphy tries to escape because he doesn't want to be tested on, and then dead man switch, whole world goes to shit basically. But we don't know because yeah, and even Citizen Z is fucked because he has a nuke coming towards him. So yeah, and you do have your moments. There are some good moments. Some I don't want to say heartwarming moments because it really doesn't have any heartwarming moments. But it does have some times where you want the characters to win or to survive. I mean, you want them to survive, no shit. I mean, most of them to survive, no shit. But there's times where you want them to survive more than other times. So yeah, the acting throughout the show, it does get better, in my opinion. It does get better. Yeah, for the most part, it does get better. There are a few actors, Matt and Addie, to point out, who don't get better, who actually they get worse, in my opinion, especially Matt. And I researched the actor who played Matt. And now I know why he sucks so bad, because he was in fucking Twilight. Yeah, he was in fucking Twilight. So no wonder he sucks. Yeah. So Addie and Matt, they're actors and actresses. Not to shit on them, but they can't act for shit. The actress for Addie can act maybe a little bit better than Matt, but they really can't act for shit. So yeah. So I mean, but aside from them two, who are maybe the weakest things in the show, Matt and Addie are probably the weakest characters in the show, story-wise, acting-wise, writing-wise, relationship-wise, because they are boyfriend and girlfriend, so relationship-wise, everything-wise. Aside from them two, everybody else has some pretty good dialogue, pretty good acting. Everybody else in the show is actually a pretty decent actor. Some of them are better than others, expected. But overall, most of them are pretty decent to good actors. The writing does get better by episode, for the most part. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's a fun show. You really can't take it serious, really cannot take it seriously. But there are times where it does have its serious moments where you do understand that it is serious, and it's one of those situations that, despite the fact you really can't take it seriously for the most part, it does have a few times where it is serious, and you realize you need to take it seriously. And yeah, I mean, overall it's a pretty fun show. It does have its flaws, but overall it is a fun show. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, for Z Nation season 1, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good season, and I'm happy they're gonna do season 2. And yeah, at the last episode, they showed a quick scene with Addie and Matt. I hope if they're gonna regroup if they're gonna regroup eventually, kill them off. Just kill them off, or just never show them again. And then I think the show will be better. And if you are gonna bring them back again, don't just either kill them off quick, or don't give them a full episode, because that was just horrendous. In my opinion, that was horrendous. So yeah, and that's basically it for now. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Comment down below on your thoughts on season 1 of Z Nation. Z Nation season 2 should be back around October, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.